So my Blaze Originals documentary episode is out. It is called Voter Fraud Exposed and How Elections Can Be Stolen. And I would encourage all of you guys to go watch it. Now, we focused on the state of Michigan. Obviously, it's a very critically important swing state. And we went down to Michigan, I should say up rather, to Michigan to find out what was going on the ground. And I want to play for you a short clip of just how poorly the state's voter rolls are run. And I would say that they're not even doing their due diligence in trying to keep clean voter rolls on the books. Here's just one clip from that one.
This is the Auditor General, friend of mine, Doug Ringler. Here it is, 2022. The Office of the Auditor General looked at the election. It's a pretty decent one. Mm-hmm. You just look at this page here.
Board of Elections.
You're doing it for TV, go ahead.
Not perform a periodic reconciliation between the driver's license file and QVF. We identified discrepancies in addresses and death status that, if identified and corrected, could help decrease the risk of ineligible electors voting in Michigan.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Right, the Board of Elections did not perform a periodic reconciliation between the driver's license file. Secretary of State, here's the driver's license, right. Here's your address,
right.
Here's the qualified voter file, here's the voting roll. You're not checking if the address is the same.
Right. Yeah.
I want to welcome to the show, I would say the star of that documentary. You just saw him. He is, of course, Charlie LaDuff. He is the host of No BS News Hour, a Pulitzer Prize award-winning journalist. And Charlie, where's the mustache?
I know, right? You like my hair? I grew it. It should be on money.
You look so clean cut. I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, so it's good to see you, Charlie. And I want you to just tell the audience, we go through this in the documentary, but I want you to explain to the audience how bad it is in Michigan going into the 2024 election. I just saw you tweet out, or I should say posted on X, that we thought that it was, 103% of adults in Michigan are registered to vote, and that's now, did you say 105%?
105. The state Senate just ran those numbers, in touch with those guys. You have 8.3 million registered voters, and you have slightly under 7.9 million adults. That is of all, immigration status. So not all adults in Michigan are citizens. Right. So right there, you have a problem. Now, the Secretary of State likes to say she's very busy. Maybe not. I don't live this stuff like you do, but 105% is pretty high. They got a saying in Detroit, which is, if you want to live forever, register to vote, but you're going to die waiting for them to count your vote.
Right. Yeah, probably so, especially over there. Yeah, I know, Charlie, I was going through this and I was like, I'm not a mathematician, but I feel like if you have 8.1 million registered voters and only 7.6 million adults, you got a problem, especially when you consider that is, of course, assuming 100% are registered to vote, which never happens. So a little bit of a problem to clean up. So I want you to tell us, Charlie, about Janet, who used to live in your house.
Janet, a quarter century ago, lived in my house. When 2020 came along and all the absentee ballot applications came, I went down to City Hall, told my clerk, Janet hasn't lived here in 25 years. Janet lives in Texas. Janet remarried and has assumed another name. They kept coming, and they came in 21. And they came in 22, and I keep sending them back. And they came in 23, and in 23, Janet's voter registration card came. I called Janet, and I said, hey, Janet, all I have to do is change my gas bill into your name. That's 2 pieces of ID, and I can get your Social Security. She's not happy. She calls herself progressive, which is cool with me, but she's not happy. I'm not happy. It's a mess. And if I could, as a reporter, I got a job in 2020 at TCF. I was the guy, captain of absentee voter precinct 123. I processed more absentee ballots in Michigan than anybody. And my sum total is this. No, 150,000 ballots came in. I don't know about Star Wars stuff and hacking into it. I'm just telling you 150,000 ballots didn't come in. But on the right, you have intense feelings that the election is stolen. I don't see any evidence of that. On the left, there's a lot of people who feel they're trying to subjugate their vote, squelch it, right? Take your right away. Me is in the middle. The real place to start is to get these damn voting rolls in order. I think we can all agree on that. Bring the temperature down. And then I'm just going to tell you what I really feel. Why not the last 4 digits of your social security number? It's your PIN. It's your personal PIN for everything. You don't need ID. You just tell it to them. But we're not going to get there with these voter rolls all screwed up. Can I keep going?
Yeah.
I'm working with a guy. It's a Detroit guy. Works under the pseudonym Advocate. He's got the qualified voters list. He's purchasing the list of those who actually voted in the 2022, 2020. I know a woman who owns a house. It was a victim of arson. It hasn't had anybody living in it. It's been boarded up for 10 years. There are 4 active registered people at that address. One guy apparently was born in 1914.
Oh my gosh.
But that's just a holding place. When somebody comes and registers the day of and they'll fix it later. They're going to fix it later. He came in 2002. When are you going to fix it, Jocelyn? When are you going to? There's hundreds of these houses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I know we had this conversation when I was there in Detroit, but to me, it's like there is no innocent explanation for not doing this. This kind of decision and the fact that, Republicans are passing legislation that would allow people to get free ID and Governor Whitmer vetoes it. Like, why would you do that if your whole concern and your whole argument seemingly is it's racist to expect people to have ID? Okay, we'll solve the problem. No, we don't want that to happen. To me, there's just no excuse other than a sinister motive.
Maybe so. Let's just, go back a little bit. Everybody of any ethnic group, any socioeconomic, you name it, the supermajority supports it. Right. There's just no doubt about it. So I don't know if it's about disenfranchising the voter. Give them the PIN. I don't see the problem. I really don't. Is it nefarious? Could be, but I didn't look. Besides the Star Wars stuff, okay, like Xi Jinping is able to beam something in here, and there's a fiber optic cable under the counting board. The easiest way to do this with these absentee ballots, and they're here to stay, is not sitting in front of somebody's mailbox. Biden beat Trump by 150,000. You're not going to have people going in and stealing the ballots out of the mailbox 150,000 times. That can't be done. But clerks, are underneath the subset of the Secretary of State. This is a driver's license, Social Security death index issue. It's a paperwork issue. So if anybody was able to get votes, knowing people hadn't voted for 20 years, they don't live there, it is possible that somebody could have a list of this and they could fill it out. And they could put it in the envelope and put it in the drop box, just do the round robin. That is possible. I see no evidence that it happened, but I know people are upset. And I don't think the Republic works very well if people don't trust it. So if it is working properly, I called for, by size of county, Wayne County, Michigan's the biggest one, 1.7 million. You have some of 50,000. 1%, take 1% randomly, because that's the difference in the election year, 1.5. So if you can flip it. And just see if they live at that address. See, because there's a change of registry with the post office. There's the Social Security death index. There's something called ERIC, the electronic records, blah, 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 that 25 states belong to. You can look. And if we saw 0.5% of the random ballots that they weren't from that address, we have an issue. Nobody wanted to look at that. Yeah. But, if you're looking and somebody doesn't live, it just takes takes a couple of investigators. Hey, man, I see you live in Macomb County, but you voted out of Wayne County. And if the person says, yeah, I forgot to change and I just drove to the old neighborhood, acceptable. But we didn't do that. Our audit was silly. They were doing ping pongs like it was a lottery and it went bad and they had to start over. It was really funny. They're taping it, Our audit was, let's randomly pull machines and see if we feed these ballots through, will we get the same number of ballots coming out? That's not an audit. That's a checkup. That's getting an oil change. You're supposed to do that anyway. So I think we have a really bad issue when each cycle, whoever loses calls it illegitimate. Something that needs to be done. And what you're talking about, cleaning up some voter rolls would go a long way.
Yeah, I completely agree. Charlie, I know we don't agree on every single issue, but
God made us different.
Yeah, almost 80% of Americans, left or right, agree that you should have to be able to prove that you are who you say you are in order to vote, because it's really freaking important in this country. So,
the French do it.
Yep, right. When what was that? Like 1975, they decided, hey, you know what? Mail-in ballots are a really bad idea because it causes us to have more risk of fraud. We should not do that. Let's go to paper. And here in America, we're supposed to be a first world country. And seems to me like we are just going backwards when it comes to voter integrity. So I appreciate all of your work. I know you are seeking the truth in all things, and you've done great work. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate the time that I spent with you. And listen, keep in contact. Let me know when you grow the mustache back too.
Are you throwing me off though?
We gotta go. We gotta go.
All right. All right, listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vote and vote often.
And if you're in Michigan, you can do that actually as many times as you want, maybe. As
the guy at the voting at the terminal, I didn't see it, and I was looking hard. I was checking the stamps, But yeah. I'll be there again. I'll watch, and I'll be honest. And if I see something, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you come back and you tell me, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. We'll see you soon. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.